Hello, everyone. I wanted to check in here with all of you as we enter this very pivotal week here. We are getting closer and closer to the first eclipse this season. We'll find that the energy really picks up this week as the finale of this week ends with the total lunar eclipse on the 14th. So a lot has already been kicking up with this eclipse energy, and you are probably feeling it quite a bit in your own life. The pace is picking up, and many different lessons are coming up to the surface for you to look at, to address, but also to be aware of so that you can move through it and eventually shift it through this eclipse passage. As this is paired with the Venus retrograde, as I mentioned in the energy update for the month, we are being shown many different facets of our life around our connections, and especially around our relationship to ourself. You could find at this time that you are being shown a very big spotlight on the original relationships in your life. And that is with your parents, with your upbringing, your family. So there could be a lot of different themes and potentially some harsher lessons that are arising, whether that is actual instances or happenings with your parents or some kind of perspective shift that you're having around your upbringing. And this can be a rather sensitive time because that's such a powerful connection in our life. A relationship with our parents really shapes truly everything because that's our original relationship understanding. It's our first relationship. So it ripples out into every aspect of our life. And that truly shapes our self-worth. So this eclipse passage with the Venus retrograde, combined with the Mercury retrograde, is having us go over some old ground related to our past, related to our upbringing, related to our self-worth. This is a good opportunity to dive into it and really look at these perspective shifts, but ultimately to heal it. And I know you may be feeling weary and burnt out because these themes have already been surfacing for the last several years. But if they're surfacing again in a different kind of way this eclipse season, understand that if it feels sensitive, if it feels raw, or if you feel as though you're just at the end of your rope with all of it, we're moving through some final points with it. And yes, we will always have our relationship with our parents, even if they are passed over. We're reaching a pivotal turning point here, where we're reclaiming parts of ourselves. We're reclaiming the parts that may have been oppressed, suppressed, abused, dismissed by them originally, in order to reclaim our sense of worth, our sense of empowerment. And this could be showing up in other relationships for you as well, because ultimately relationships mirror our upbringing and the wounds and different patterns that we hold from our upbringing. So this eclipse season can really have us looking at all of these different pieces, but remember, it's ultimately leading you back to your own sense of self-love, your own sense of worth, and reshaping that for you. Because we are in this 9 year, this completion year, this year of the wood snake, and we're shedding the skin in order to begin again. So this entire year is going to be full of that completion, that ending and beginning. So if you are feeling rather sensitive as we move through this eclipse season, because it has these added elements to it, you could find that vulnerability comes up for you, having to prove yourself in a new way, really show your sense of worth that may feel tender, may feel new. Remember that this is a temporary passage that's leading us to a new cycle, and keep that in mind if you are feeling tender. But it is important to give yourself space throughout these next several weeks as we move through this to process your emotions, to give space for your heart, for the cycles that are completing, for the endings that are surfacing, for the truths that are rising up around your connections. Give yourself as much space, grace, and self-love as you can, because ultimately that is the underlying lesson that is coming up as a form of a new beginning. You're reshaping your sense of worth. So wonderful practices as we move through this first eclipse week here, and we get towards the end of the week, is to slow down, because the pace is going to pick up. It's going to get faster. So be as mindful as you can and giving yourself those pockets of space as you are able to. And if you have quite a bit of responsibilities, kiddos to tend to, carve out the pockets as you're able to. Even if it's when they're asleep at night, and you train your nervous system to decompress. Set down the phone, tune into your breath, tune into your body, reconnect with your heart, and remember the temporary quality of this passage. It's leading us somewhere. A good theme or practice to have around eclipses, some people choose to go on a fast or eat very clean, very lightly around eclipses, because the eclipse energy itself is very activating. So our bodies will be integrating quite a bit of energy with this passage. Excuse me, and maybe some throat chakra themes. So there's so much that's going to be taking place in the lead up, on the eclipse day, and afterwards. So our bodies are going to be catching up to that energetic integration. So lots of water with lemon will be helpful. Moving your body as you're able to. After the eclipse, guides are showing you may feel quite a bit of fatigue. So listen to your body with that. You may need more inward time. Sea salt baths will help your body to catch up to all of that. Or even a brisk walk outside, even if you're feeling tired, that will help to move the old energy that's moving out of your body, out of your field. A other helpful practice is journaling around your eclipse themes, noticing what's surfacing for you, the lessons that are occurring. And if you've already been having some experiences, things that are triggering you, those are your eclipse lessons. So creating a journaling space to reflect around the lessons that are emerging will be really helpful for you to process all of the shifts over these next several weeks. And maybe it's reflecting on releasing them, giving them gratitude, grace as they are completing or arising for you at this time. So this is an intense passage. If you're feeling quite off, you're feeling not quite sure of your next steps, not really knowing what to do, how to move ahead, you may not know quite yet. The pieces are going to be kicked up in the air with this eclipse, and they're going to hover around and scatter until they settle down with that next eclipse at the end of the month. So reminders of using that practice of being in the moment. Be like water. Be flexible with the changes. This is a divine intervention, and this is a very unique eclipse season where it is much more powerful than a common eclipse passage, it feels. So we're in a massive cycle shift here. So be gentle with yourself, gentle with others, and I'll be back on here again as we move through all of this. Have a wonderful eclipse week, and I'll be back again here soon.